Welcome, this is Carrie Schell from On Point Quilter. In this tutorial, I will share with you how to create the blocks and the layout for a quilt that I'm entitling Sewing Baskets. On the home screen, select New Project, and let's label this one Sewing Baskets, and select OK. Then select Search for Block Patterns, and in the EQ block library, go to the Contemporary Piece Baskets and select the Almost Amish basket and select Edit to Block Work Table. Now I want to actually create a block with 4 of these. And if you look at this block and you look at the partitioning, and I'm going to just turn my graph paper cells on, which are at 6 by 6, you can see that the divisions are 6 by 6. And so if I put 4 of these in the block, I would need to double it, and it would mean my snaps would need to be 12 by 12. So I'm going to change the block width and height to 12 by 12. I'm going to change my snaps to 12. And I'm going to turn my graph paper cells off, and snapping options is going to be only snap to grid. Now with the pick tool, I can select any line and then do with the Control or the Command plus the A key to select everything. Then under Advanced Symmetry, select Resize, and under the percentage, change the horizontal and the vertical to both 50% and select OK. Now you should be able to snap that to the upper left corner. Then I'm going to do a clone, and I'm going to move the block to the upper right corner. Do a second clone and move that segment to the lower right corner, and a fourth clone to the lower left corner. Now I'm going to take the line tool and I'm going to draw a horizontal and vertical line at 6 inch to split that into 4 pieces. And then I can go to the Color tab. Now I'm going to use a new set of fabrics, so I'm going to open Library, and I decided to use the fabric of the month for July was Island Batik Icicle by Kathy Engel. And I'm going to select one of those fabrics, do a Select All Fabrics, and do Add to Sketchbook and close. And that's going to put these fabrics at the end. Then I'm going to use the fabric tools and recolor this block. And once I have that colored, I will select Add to Project Sketchbook. Now I'm going to select the Quilt work table and do a new quilt, and I'm going to select the On Point layout. In the Layout tab, I will change the number of blocks to 1 by 1. Now a good size for this quilt would be 12 inches based on how I designed it. So I'm going to change the width to 12. Then in the Design tab, I'm going to do a Set Block, locate the new block, and click on the workspace. Select the Rotate tool and then rotate it 1 time so that they are facing correctly. And now I'm ready to think about borders. So I'm going to go to the Border tab, and I played with the numbers a bit and decided that I liked 2.5 inches when I compared that to the center design. And I'm going to select the style Corner Blocks. So now I need to figure out the size of these blocks. Now back at the Layout tab, we can see that this quilt center is 16.971, so essentially 17 inches. So for these longer blocks in the border, they're going to be designed at 2.5 by 17. So back on the block work table, I'm going to do a new block, Pieced Easy Draw Block, and I'm going to change the block width to 17 and the height to 2.5. For the snaps, I'm going to snap every 1/4 inch, which means the horizontal will be 68 and the height will be 10. And I'm going to keep the snapping options at snap to grid. Now the reason I decided to do a 1/4 inch is that I want to first of all draw an inner border, and so I'm going to draw that at a 1/2 inch. Going the other direction, I decided I wanted to work with scraps, which meant that they will either finish a 1/4 inch, a 1/2 inch, an inch and a half, something that is divisible by a 1/4 inch. So then I'm just going to draw a series of long vertical lines, and I'm going to make them different sizes. You don't always see dots, because once you get up in those higher numbers, EQ does not show you dots for all of these snaps when you've got snap to grid on. So just recognize that you do have snaps there, and that your lines will be perfectly straight. Go to the Color tab and color this block. And I will select Add to Project Sketchbook. Now I want to design a block for the corners, and so I'm going to do a new block, Pieced, Easy Draw, and I'm going to make the block width and height both 2.5 inches, and I'm going to set the snaps both to 10, and I'm going to draw a 1/2 inch border on 2 sides. And then I can go to the Color tab, and I will just color the border piece and select Add to Project Sketchbook. Then select the Quilt work table, select the Design tab, under Block Tools, Set Block, find the first border block and select the long borders, and then select the corner block, and with the Control or Command key select one of the corners. Then select the Rotate key and rotate the blocks as necessary. Now I decided that I wanted to put something in those corner squares. So on the block work table, I'm going to do a new block, Create Serendipity, and I will select Merge Blocks. On the left, I should be able to find my corner block, and then I'm going to pick the Friendship Star block and select Add to Sketchbook and close. Now in the Quilt work table, I can do a Block Tools, Set Block, and I'm going to, with the Control key, replace those corner blocks, and then with the Fabric Tools, I'm going to do some changes in coloring, and I'm going to add another 1/2 inch border. So I will do an add and change those to 0.5 and color that. And I chose that because that was the size of that sort of fake or faux inner border. And so now I'm going to select Add to Project Sketchbook. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoy making your sewing basket quilt. For additional tips and techniques, please subscribe to my weekly newsletter at www.onpointquilter.com.